Hi boys and girls, welcome back to Penny's Reading Nook. I'm here at the Patch office today in Spencer, West Virginia, and I have looks like a table full of exciting things to do today, so we probably should just jump right in and get started. What do you think? I do too. Well, we're going to be talking about the letter A today, and it's one of our vowels, so it's going to make two different sounds. It's going to say its own name, A, and then it's also going to make the short vowel sound, which is ah, okay? So we've got our All About the Letter A poster. We have our A book, and then we have some A activities to do, okay? So let's start off with the A book, okay? Go ahead and we'll read that and get that out of the way. My A book. It was written by Jane Belk Moncure and illustrated by Colin King. And remember how I said the letter A makes two different sounds. It makes the short A, which is ah, and the long A, which is its name, A. Okay? And it says here that this book concentrates on the short A sound, which is going to be ah. And at the end of the book, we'll have some long A words. Okay? Little A had a box. I will find things that begin with my ah sound, he said. I will put them into my sound box. Little A put on his hat and went for a walk. He found apples, apples, and apples. Did he put the apples in his box? Yes, he did. What color apples did he find? He found red apples and green apples and yellow apples. Delicious. Then little A found an alligator. Ooh, did he put the alligator into the box with the apples? Yes, he did. Next, little A found ants, ants, and more ants. Did he put the ants into his box with the apples and the alligator? Yes, he did. Then little A found toy arrows. Guess where he put the arrows? Any idea? In his box, that's right. Next, little A found an anchor. And guess where he put the anchor? In his sound box, you're right. Now the box was so full, the ants, the arrows, and the anchor fell out. Oh no. The apples and the alligator fell out too. Now, who will help me fill my box? Asked little A. I wonder who's going to come along. Can you think of somebody that might have an A starting in their name? Let's see. Just then, an astronaut came by. I will help you, said the astronaut. We will fill your box. Guess what happened next? No, let's see. The astronaut took little A for a ride. His name is Jet. Up, up, and away they went. Ants, you see the ants? They're kind of holding on. Woohoo! Ants, alligator, arrows, astronaut, apples, and anchor. Can you read these words with little A? You ready? Antlers, acrobat, animals. Now, little A has another sound in some words. He says his name, A. Can you read these words? And listen for little A's name. You ready? Acorn, apron, ape, and angel. Did you hear the difference in the sounds? You had antlers and angel and acorn. You hear the different sounds? Yeah. The end. Right there's a little A. He's going with his alligator. Looks like he's got a pet alligator now. The end. And that was my A book. Now let's move on to our A projects. The first one we're going to do our A poster, or All About the Letter A. Okay? Now when we make the uppercase A, it's two long lines and one short line in the middle. And the lines, we start at the top and we go down and then you go back up to the top, and it goes down again. They kind of go out a little bit. It's not like a straight line down. They kind of lean out a little bit, okay? And then your line there in the middle. So there's your uppercase A, and then a lowercase a is a circle with a short stick. And you notice that it's shorter than the uppercase A. So where's it going to start at? You're right, it's going to start on the dotted line. So we make our circle, and then you're going to make a straight line down that's attached to the A. It's like it's holding up the A, okay? All right, so an uppercase A. Today, let's make 3 uppercase A's. You ready? Down, and down some more and across. There's 1. And remember, we got 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. And 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And now for the lowercase a's. How many lowercase a's should we make? Somebody think of a number out there. I think someone's thinking of the number. I'm reading your mind right now. And you said 4. Okay, we can make 4 uppercase or lowercase a's. And it's a circle and a short stick. 1, circle and a short stick. 2, and remember they have to touch. Okay, it's just going to look like something different. 3 and 4. There we go. Okay, so we had 3 uppercase A's. We had 4 lowercase a's. Now our next question is, this might be tricky. What letter comes before the letter A? Well, let's get our chart out and look and see. You ready? Okay, first we have to find the letter A. It's going to be really hard. Take a deep breath. It's going to take us a while. You ready? A. It was the first letter of the alphabet, wasn't it, boys and girls? Kind of tricked you a little bit. So, is there a letter that comes before the letter A? No, because the letter A is the first letter of the alphabet. So we'll just mark a line just straight through it, okay? Nope. So now what letter comes after it? Well, let's go back to our chart. We found our letter A. Now what comes after the A? What's that letter? You're right, it's the letter B. Good job, B. And that is it's a long line. We'll make the uppercase and the lowercase one, okay? There, and then a circle, or a half circle. It's kind of like a backwards C, and then a bigger backwards C. That's our uppercase B, and then our lowercase. Okay? Now we need to think of an A word. Have any idea? We had lots of A words in our book. And if you know does anybody out there know what my last name is? I always say this is Penny's Reading Nook, but I don't think I've ever said what my last name is. Do you have any guesses? I heard somebody out there say it. My last name is Arnold, and it is an A word. So I'm going to use that one. I like that word. A, R, N, O, L, D. You would think, as many times as I've done this, that my sideways writing would be a little better. But I still need to work on that, don't I? I do. All right, so there was our A word. Arnold. It's my last name. Okay? So we know how to make our uppercase A, our lowercase a. We know that the letter A is a vowel, and it makes 2 different sounds. A long vowel sound, he just says its name. A. And the short vowel sound is A. Okay? All right. Now, we've got that. We're going to push that off. Need that. Push away our book. And now we have an art project. Does anybody know what that is right there? That is a paper apple. And I'll put it down here where you can probably see it better. That's a paper I had paper strips, and I turned those paper strips into an apple. So for this art project, you're going to need, piece of red paper. Got it. Okay. Then we need a piece of green paper for its leaf. Got it. We're going to need a ruler, a pair of scissors, something to write with, a pen. This right here is called a hole punch. We're going to make some holes. And this box here, this is a box. They're called brads. All right. And it is just a kind of a fastener. All right, and we're going to have 2 brads, okay? But that comes later on. So let's move our apple back and our hole punch and our green paper, our scissors. First thing we need to start off with is our ruler and a piece of red paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some lines, and we want them the width of our ruler, okay? Try to make them straight. Even with a ruler, I have a hard time making straight lines. Isn't that funny? Probably ought to get my glasses on so I can see the lines a little better, huh? All right, so, and what I did was I took a piece of construction paper and I just cut the paper in half. We just used half to make the apple, okay? So see, we're just taking our ruler, it's got all of our measurements on it, and we're using the width of the ruler to make our strips. And we are going to make a red apple, which is we're going to have this, it's going to be a red delicious apple. But there's lots of different red apples out there that are different. What is there, a Fuji apple, and a Gala apple, are there some of the red ones? And then we have our yellow apple, which is the golden delicious, and then a green apple, which is a Granny Smith. And there are building blocks. Miss Pam did an activity, like a science activity with the apples. And how different do they taste? We had a red apple that we tasted. We had, I think it was a red delicious. We had a golden delicious apple, and we had a Granny Smith apple. And we was going to taste each one of them, and we got to see which one was the sweetest and which one was not so sweet. Guess what? The Granny Smith, that green one, not so sweet. Ooh, my goodness. All right, so we've got our strips that are the width of the ruler. This one right here, the extra one that I marked through, we're not going to use that one, okay? So next you're going to do, you're just going to cut out your strips. How fast can Miss Penny cut and stay on the line at the same time? I don't know. It's good practice for you guys to cut. I went off the line a little bit, didn't I? Yeah, it'll be all right. Okay, almost done. Okay. All right, so there, I'm done with the red strips, okay? So we'll take them and we're going to put them in one pile. Got it? And then we're going to take our hole punch. Let's see how many strips do we have. We didn't do that. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 red strips. Now, here's the muscle part. Ooh. Do you think I can punch a hole in all 7 at the same time? I don't know. Let's see if I can get my hole puncher to fit through those. All right. 1, 2, 3, push. Ah, I did it. And I just lost all my little dots there. They all fell out. Isn't that funny? Now I have a mess to clean up. All right, and then the other side, we're going to punch holes in both ends. 1, 2, 3, push. Ah, I did it. Okay, so we have our 7 red strips, and then we punched a hole in both sides, okay, on both ends. Now we need our green paper, and we need to make us a leaf. You can just free cut whatever kind of shape leaf you want. All right, and there's my green leaf. Okay, now at this point in time we need to get those fancy things out called brads. All right, we need 2 of them. 1, 2. Okay, now let me see here. We need to take that green leaf and we're going to put it on top. We're going to punch a hole in it. So take your brad, and it's real easy. You're just going to push it through the paper there. Okay, and there you see I have it. Now we're going to take that, and we're going to take our 7 red strips, and we're going to put that together. Then you turn it over. You see these things that stand up? They fold down. So you're going to move them around and fold them down, okay? One goes one way, one goes the other. Got it? Okay, now you're going to do the same thing with the other end. Take your brad, put it through the holes, turn it over, and then bend the sides down. Okay, so now I have, kind of looks a little bit like an uppercase I almost, does it, instead of an apple. So now the fun part comes. You're going to take your strips that you've got your brads attached to in your apple, and you're going to start separating them. And you see, when you move them, it does the work itself. It kind of folds itself over, like it's making a backwards C. And then you just move each one around, till you have your apple shape. Okay? And you can do that with any. If your favorite apple is a yellow apple, a golden delicious, do that. Make a yellow apple. If your favorite's a Granny Smith, do that one. If I'm going to eat an apple, I would prefer either a red apple, the golden delicious, or a red delicious. Okay, but for this project, I did the red one. And there you have it. So it was real simple. A ruler, we make some lines, you cut them, punch a hole in them, attach them with the brad, separate the strips, and you have your own apple. Okay? Now that was the art project. Now we have one last thing to do, and it is a cooking and eating project. That sounds good, doesn't it? Well, with all this craziness going around and this old yucky COVID stuff, just doesn't seem to be wanting to go away anytime soon, does it? Well, a lot of people during the summer were going to fairs and festivals. And well, unfortunately, a lot of those things got canceled. And one of the things that I would see at fairs and festivals that I would go to, there was always a caramel apple, or they'd call it a candy apple on a stick, right? Yes, well, those are great big with lots of sugar on the outside of the apple, and that's not really too good for you. You shouldn't have a lot of sugar. And well, we don't have a fair and festival to go to, so we're not going to have a caramel apple. And it doesn't look like we're going to be having any caramel apples anytime soon at a festival. But we are going to make our own version of a caramel apple that's a little healthier. You're not going to have all that sugar like you would on a full-size apple because, well, we're not going to use an apple. We are going to use grapes. Have you ever heard of that? A caramel grape that tastes like a caramel apple? Well, when we first did this at Building Blocks, everybody was like, oh, yeah, right, that's not going to taste like an apple. But surprisingly, boys and girls, it does. So what you're going to need for this project is you're going to need some green grapes. And that's going to be our green apples, okay? And then we're going to need a little bit of caramel dip. And you're not going to be using a lot of it. It's just a little bit. So it's okay for you. And then you're going to need some peanuts. And you're going to take your peanuts and you're going to smash them up. Because if you see the apples that's at the festival, they have peanuts sprinkled on them, don't they? Okay? So, to get started, I probably need to put all this stuff out of the way. Oh, shove it out of the way, Jimmy. Okay. So we have our grapes. We have our peanuts. And we'll sprinkle them out here on the plate. Okay. And then we're going to need our caramel dip. Bring it up just a little bit. And then we're going to need a toothpick with our grapes. Okay? So what you're going to do, oh, it already smells like a festival. I took the lid off that caramel and I immediately think of the Black Walnut Festival or all the other different fairs and festivals that's about. Just that smell. It's funny how smells will take you somewhere. It takes you on back to a memory. Okay? So you've got your apples, which are grapes. You're going to take your toothpick. You stick it through your grape. Got that? It's kind of looking a little bit like an apple, isn't it? Looking like a caramel apple. Now comes the fun part. You dip it in your caramel. Get a little bit of caramel. Hello. About to lose my grape in the caramel. Doesn't want to cooperate with me very well this morning. The caramel's kind of cold. All right. So we got our grape. And then you're going to roll that in your peanuts. My toothpick does not want to stay, boys and girls. Roll that in your peanuts. And there you have it. You have a miniature caramel apple. All right. Now we're going to count to 3. Because when we do something at Building Blocks, we all count to 3 and we try it together and then we see how it tastes. So are we ready? 1, 2, 3. And you know what? It tastes just like a caramel apple that you would get at a fair or festival. But it's not completely covered in that caramel. So a little bit of sugar was okay. Because you're going to go outside, you're going to exercise, and you're going to get rid of all that. Okay? So, I hope you go to the store and get these things. Grapes, some peanuts, and some caramel. Make your own fair or festival at your house. And I will see you later, boys and girls. Bye-bye. Mwah.